Hey yo guys, what's going on and welcome back to York City where the one game played in between then and now. We lost to Bristol in the Carabao Cup second round. It's disappointing, especially as they played on the Sunday, so only had one day in between the match at the weekend and this match. So some iffy performances, some good performances. Realistically, we sort of edged it in terms of the match itself. It's just one of those matches. I do not understand why we keep picking up so many bookings. I'm not even on get stuck in. Like Wilson, I get. He's a ball-winning midfielder. That's his job. And the fullbacks, that seems to happen all the time. But the last couple of years, we've been okay on the yellow card front. We've not had... I don't think we've had a red card since League Two. It's worrying me a little bit. That was said, Sheffield United today and Blackburn after the international break. I realise I've scheduled this quite poorly on my end. Doesn't matter to you. It all gets cut out in between, so bam bam for you. Like 3 weeks for me. But of course, that loss was in the Cup anyway, so we are still 5 wins from 5 in the league. Now, I don't know whether or not losing in the Cup now is a good thing or a bad thing, because on the one hand, it means we don't have any more Cup competitions until January, so we can focus entirely on having a fresh squad week by week in the league. On the other hand, losing in the Cup often has a little effect on morale, probably more than it should do, especially the Cowbell. I don't know. Especially as we're now away at Sheffield, a bad result here might have a knock-on effect. And realistically, that's what I'm most worried about. We've had a very good start, and I think part of that is the morale coming from the friendlies, win after win in the friendlies, a good squad there, and then a few good wins at the start propels you into slightly more positivity in the matches that follow, and then losing potentially 2 in a row here could be catastrophic in that regard. I do think the game does put too much emphasis in losing in the Cup when it comes to destroying morale. That being said, the team is... The team now is as it was last time you saw it, I believe. Anyway, Dutra, Davila, Egan, Edgar, Shaw, Wilson in that role there, Nacelle, Velasquez, Madeira and Litao on the wings, and King up front. I do realise this is now all Portuguese for the time being. The Dutchman will get there eventually. It's nearly there. It says severely. It's 2/3. It's not severe. You get 63% in an exam. That's a pass, my friend. No idea what it is these days because they use a 1 to 9 numbering system, which makes 0 sense because it's the wrong way round, more importantly. Despite the fact we've won 5 games from 5, we are the underdogs. Sheffield United aren't breathing down our necks in 3rd, though, so that's probably something to do with it. Something's occurred here, and we've given away a free kick. That's Zivkovic, who... decent, and... right then. 2 minutes in. Why is there a goal after 2 minutes in every match? It's usually us scoring, but Bristol did it to us last time, and now Sheffield United have done it this time. It's a good save. It's just a very awkward deflection that's ended up at Bandinelli's feet. Sheffield United notably less British Isles than they are currently in real life. I have noticed that. Still playing the same formation, even though Chris Wilder is long gone. I think Chris Wilder's England manager, and there's something very satisfying about that. Davila, I was about to say charging the other side, just decides to cut inside and just give it to them. But he's got it back again now and has managed to pass it to a person in blue. I don't think he's used to not being in red. He has signed for Liverpool and now he's playing for a team that typically plays in red and white. So he's got a little bit confused. Should speak English at this point because I think he's been at Liverpool for a year now. Nacelle though, there we are. Goal, equaliser. 4 minutes played. Not even 4 minutes played, really. Imagine being that person who's just like, I'll just make sure the car's parked. You go on ahead, and you come in the stadium 5 minutes late, and it's 1-1. Hard to tell whose supporters are whose in the stadium though, because everyone's wearing basically the same strip. I know York's isn't vertical striping, but at this distance and this engine, it's very difficult. I'm just going to pause this temporarily. Let's not forget that Sheffield United are currently being praised for doing as well as they are with a team made basically entirely from the British Isles when they were promoted. I think in the Championship they were the only team to have an entirely first British 11 or something like that. Now, Brazilian, Portuguese, I can't talk in this, but I've not been praised for that. Italian, Serbian, Finnish. At this point, they're just getting a collection. Ukrainian, he's English. American, English, and American as well. So, I do notice they do have Marcus Dewhurst, who hasn't really developed. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. He's very much a backup. The bench, I have to say, does look a little bit more English. As I said, there is an Argentinian and another Portuguese player. I can't talk about not having English players, obviously, but that's more through necessity because wages are the thing than this situation over here. What happened to their identity? Like, it's an identity thing for Sheffield United. Now, I know in the January in real life they have dipped into a few foreign players, but it still feels like a very English club for Sheffield at the moment, as Lys Mousset charges through. Of course, he's French, and he was actually there at the start of the season. In real life, he's been there a good solid 6 years now in the game. Still only has the number 27 though. 22, sorry. 2-1. Immediate highlight after then. Wilson's been booked. I think he's actually going to miss a match now. Madeira. Great ball through there. Great save, it's got to be said. Resulting corner. There's no real need to talk about this. Lascelles whipped that one in. I might put a better penalty taker. I might put a better corner taker on corners at the base, because seemingly less and less of them are being done short like I tell them to do it. So if they're not going to take it short, I better put a better corner taker on the actual corner. Because Lascelles, not brilliant at them. Madeira, though, is back through again after a lovely through ball from Madeira. From Lascelles. Lascelles on 8.1. That's it, basically. Reasonably even game. We are having a lot of possession. Like, this tactic isn't massive on possession, but we're having a lot of it here. I like this. Look. You know as well as I do that the first half wasn't good enough. Show them what you're all about in the second. I'm not sure how you can start a sentence with look and be passionate about it, but look. Even I can't try and do that passionately, and I'm actually human. After back-to-back games with goals for Hugh King, he's really not done anything since. Now Madeira, what's he done there? I don't know what he's done there, but it was kind of sort of vaguely magical to watch. Now this has gone all the way back to the fullbacks and the highlight hasn't ended. So, slightly concerned when the fullbacks were passing it between them. It's gone back to the goalkeeper for a second time. And maybe we build from the back. Egan, of course, playing against his former club. That was part of the appeal of this match, which I completely forgot to mention pre-match. So, we've given away the ball there quite cheaply, it has to be said, and Dutra exists. Egan has smashed it backwards. I think he's forgotten which team he's on. Kick it this way, John. This way. Try and get it out for a throw-in if you can. Don't just hoof it. Oh, that's nearly gone in. It was a corner from an existing highlight. I shouldn't have been panicked. Hugh King's on a 6.2 and he hasn't even missed a penalty. Now, is that supply or is that him? Because the winger's on 6.7. It's not awful. Lloyd South. Giselle. Now, play it short. That's how you're supposed to do it. Now, he has gone past number 9 quite nicely. And John Egan, nearly gets the equaliser against his former club. See, I remembered now. And I will probably mention it every time. Wilson, it was going wide, but Horvath decided to get a touch on it nonetheless, so thank you. I mean, it's not going to come to anything, but thank you anyway. There we are. That's gone backwards to Edgar and Egan. And highlight over. Interestingly, though, both Sheffield Wednesday and ourselves had a 4-point gap on Sheffield United going into this match, so we still don't actually lose second place. John Egan's on a 6.5. I never take defenders off, but tempting. Detail's nervous. Van Gastel can have 20-ish minutes. Now, I would take Davila off. I'm not really feeling any other changes, although obviously red card's an issue potentially there, as always. Oh, Oxford are losing 6 from 6 now. They were nearly going to get a point. Last 10 minutes, we'll go positive. Shout at them. Does nothing, of course. And we ended up with the better of that match. Properly, definitely the better of that match in the end. I do appreciate you, Harry McCulloch, saying that you thought the two sides were very similar going into the match. You may need to have a look at the wage budgets. We put up a good fight, Sheffield. Do I say I'm far from pleased? No, I'm not far from pleased. 8.6 from Lascelles. I've got to highlight him again. Now, this big red star here, good player from most Sky Bet League One sides. Now, of course, he came from Leeds. He was released from Leeds at the very start of this game. I think he's a free agent at the very start. He was literally the first player sat in my scouting inbox as soon as I started this save, and now apparently he's worth $1.5 million. Contract does run out at the end of the year, and he doesn't really have much more room to develop. And considering doesn't enjoy big matches and is apparently inconsistent, I sort of mentioned that before, but I didn't back it up. That's his form. There's a 6.8 here and a 6.7. 6.8 against Burnley in the friendlies, and a couple of sixes early on in the season. Now, of course, actually, Sheffield United was the first friendly, and we lost that one too. So it was a little bit of a Avengers match, outside of just being, two Yorkshire sides. But even in the friendlies, can't see last season on here. Sadly, it's just nipped off. But 7s and 8s every game. If you go on the career stats, of course, I kind of criticise him for not being fantastically consistent early on. But he did get 12 goals and 13 goals in those first 2 seasons, mid-league panoramas. And then he had a very... I think this was the season I started to err on the sell. The first season in League 2. 7.2 overall, 6 assists, 3 goals. It wasn't the best of returns. And then, following year happened, 12 assists. Following year happened, 11 assists. 6.6s and higher as average ratings. This lad is something else. And he only moved half an hour to get here. Oh, he still lives in Leeds. Wait, what? Sorry, I just saw that. I just saw as it nipped off that Oxford had a point. Wow. That. Talk about impact subs. Blimey. 90 plus 1, 90 plus 2. They must have literally taken the kickoff and run up the pitch and then scored, like nabbed it off them and scored again. Anyway, I've now got to wait 3 years in real time, so see you shortly. Actually, before I do, just purely because Sheffield Wednesday didn't play, I've been robbed of top boss for the month. How's that fair? Give him a 6th match. See if he wins that one before you take it off me. Spoilers, they didn't. We're not too far away from Blackburn now, but this has actually just reminded me of something I forgot to cover in all the transfer stuff. Lascelles got a new contract, by the way. He came to me during the window. Funny how that worked out. I was just talking about that, and then he sort of pops up and goes, "Can I have a new contract, please?" He's got one. It's fine. It's about $2 more per week than he was on already, but it's fine. I forgot to mention all the released players. There's a few of them, of course, that we already knew about. And I mentioned during the course players like Clark, DK, Lopez, Ted Smith, of course. We kind of knew about those ones leaving anyway. Giglio joins the coaching team. Connor Stanley, he was still here. He's gone now, though. Not really seen his name in about 3 years. Tavares is gone. Maralongo went, of course, he was only really here for a year, I think, anyway. Koye, another one of those players who never really developed, or at the very least didn't develop as quickly as the club did. And Romano, a big one there, really. Romano's gone now. Obviously, nowhere near this level of football, but he's at Shrewsbury now, so he's still in League One. Good for him. Yeah, a fair few of those lads have found their way in League One. Ted Smith went down to Dagenham Redbridge in League 2. For some reason, his ability rating seems to have dropped an entire division. Don't know when that happened, according to the scout. Maybe I just got better scouts than I do coaches, or whoever sorts out that out. Maybe he was never a League One goalkeeper to begin with. Okay, so away at Blackburn, who are in 22nd, we're in 2nd. They're favourites. Is that logic? Oh, speaking of players who never really obviously developed as quickly as the club have, there's a few obviously still lurking around. I say lurking, like you'd argue Sergi hasn't really developed as much as we'd like to be a big part of it. Obviously, Okoye was one of those. There's a few probably still in the under-23s that you can't see right now. Now that we have an under-23s, those players much harder to see. There's obviously a couple on loans, Robertson and Suarez. Neither of those. Suarez isn't too bad. But yeah, there's a few of them who haven't really quite developed as much as I would have liked. But that's more down to the fact that we're now in the Championship and not at the level on which they will be getting regular football. And therefore, we've had to bring in players who are more at this level in their stead. So, okay, so Gonçalves is 1 yellow card away, as is Edgar, actually, from a suspension. Now, Xiao seems to be quite tired from his trip back from China, so Burrows is actually going to get the start in this one. 83%, I'm not even sure that's brilliant for the bench. We can always pull Edgar across if we need to, and Squires can sort of do it a little bit, so I think we might be alright on that front, but Burrows will be the only major change for this match. I'm actually going to put Carter in on the start, as well as Van Gastel, actually. I think this is a good opportunity for the pair of them to get a little bit more game time, and in those positions, more importantly. They also kind of don't want Edgar and Wilson to miss out on the same match. And I feel like Wilson's a certainty to get a yellow card here. Edgar, maybe not so. So, knowing my luck right now, Edgar's not going to get a yellow card. King up front is another one who might be in the line for a replacement. But I feel like in the past, I've been a little bit trigger happy and swapping around the strikers. All right, let's do a guaranteed one that gives you a lot of good team talks. There we are. That strategy's worked quite nicely. Everyone's on green. Off we go. I'm still fuming at the fact I didn't get Manager of the Month purely because Sheffield Wednesday played on a Sunday, which was a new month. The fact they even lost that match, like if they'd won that match, I wouldn't have been angry. And now Watford are kind of doing what they should be doing by being ahead of us. 34 minutes of this game have gone past without a single highlight, and now they have a deep, very deep free kick which has ended in a goal which is disallowed for offside. What a great match this is. There's been 4 shots. Their entire team is offside, let alone him. I love the fact our boys have just held the line. Was Burrows really tired or was he taking a knock? I swear Burrows was not as tired as Shaw was. I'm certain he was 90+% fitness. King is clean through here. Straight at the goalkeeper. What's happened to King? 2 goals in 2 games and now he just cannot aim either side of the goalkeeper anymore. Davila has done what? I think it was Madeira who gave the ball away. I closed my eyes. Great interception. Madeira's back on the ball again. Don't give it away this time, please. Great pass, great reading. That was terrible. What? Is this the level of highlight we're going to get in this game? Is it really? They're uninterested. I feel like everyone's uninterested in this match. No one seems to give a flying monkeys. Can we do something here? Assertively say, I'm far from pleased. We've had the bear of it, but 6.4s, 6.5, 6.5 in defense. John, what are you doing, John? He started very well the first couple of matches he played, and then the 2 that you've seen, he's put in 6.5s. Don't know how you do that. Someone's given away a penalty. Oh, Van Gastel. I'm so glad I put you in. Now, I'm not certain if they've tweaked penalties back a little bit because they did seem to be a little bit overpowered on the scoring front for a little while. And I've had 2 saved in recent... Well, I'll say probably out of the last dozen or so, maybe. We've had a couple of saved, a few missed. Don't get me wrong, there's a few weakened spots in this team, but Blackburn had 3 points before this match. King is through again, and if he misses this... Aim away from the goalkeeper! It's really not that bloody difficult. I'd rather you miss entirely than shoot it directly at the goalkeeper. Probably said Van Gastel's not really made the most of his opportunity here. Even the fantastic Velasquez isn't doing particularly well today. We are very much not at the races. I mean, we're at a football match. That's probably why. I'm doing that switch I talked about before, and Edgar's going at right back because Burrows has had an absolute shocker as well. And I think Madeira's about to be sent off. All that talk beforehand of players who might miss the next match, and it's bloody Madeira who gets sent off. Worst part is, I think it's actually put that substitution through already. Thank God. Lee Tao kind of works as a central. I've done it again, folks, somehow. I've managed to pull Burrows into the middle of the pitch. Hang on. It's cancelled. It cancelled the substitution for some reason, but maintained the position swap as they've nabbed the ball off us, and Armstrong is clean through. Is that John? Is John number 5? I don't think he is. John's got a high number, I'm pretty certain. Oh no, he is number 5. I don't know what we're seeing here. There was a yellow card. It's towards the end of the match. Davila is, well, that's rubbish. I mean, it's a goal kick. It should be the end of the match. It is. No idea what we were seeing there. We lose to a penalty in what is actually a fairly even match. And I'm going to be aggressive. I didn't want a striking problem. Like I said before, I feel like I've been a little bit trigger happy in swapping strikers around. He shouldn't be struggling. I still don't understand his star rating, by the way. Still do not understand that star rating. I do not know how he is not a better rated player than he is right now. It was only 3 matches ago, but he managed a 6.2 without even missing a penalty, which I'm pretty certain is basically impossible as a striker. Scored against Watford, scored against Brentford, but then again, who didn't? What I feared has come to pass. Admittedly, it was 2 tight games where we've been edged away from home. Like, away from home in the Championship, I wasn't expecting to get that many points. So the fact we beat Middlesbrough and we beat Watford was, I mean, particularly the Watford one. Excuses aside for Watford, the fact we've got 6 points from 4 away games so far, I'd have taken that any day of the week. And I have absolutely no idea where I want to bring you back, because a lot of these teams we play shortly are in our run-in at the end of the season. There's no 2 teams here that don't feature in the last 7 or 8 games of the season, which of course pretty much most of those are going to be guaranteed to be there, probably in some shape or form. And knowing my luck, I'll pick the same ones twice. So I'm just going to bring you back when I feel like there's a reason to bring you back. Obviously, I want to bring you as many of these first season championship matches as possible, so probably won't be that big of a gap. But probably 3 games, up to 3 or 4 games. Preston, Reading, maybe something like that. Reading, Luton. Who knows? It'll be as much of a surprise to you as it will be to me. Until then, ta-ra.